Hey, what's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. We got some new stuff coming along, like rosters being dropped for some reason. Another one. We also have the European grid coming up tomorrow. So we're going to preview, now that the groups are out, who's playing what, our kind of predictions for it, how things are going to go, as well as a reminder of just overall the format, so people understand when teams are getting eliminated and what to look forward to. But before we get into that, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I did put out a comment in yesterday's video talking about the scheduling change possibly. Trying to get these videos out earlier in the morning just isn't really a thing. So I asked you guys if you were comfortable with me kind of scheduling them a little bit later in the day, figure around like noon my time. And I gotta say, this community is absolutely awesome. What you guys replied, every single, like there isn't a comment that isn't do what's best for you. Whatever you're most comfortable with, I'm going to watch it either way. Every single comment was like overwhelmingly positive, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support, allowing me to kind of take small changes just so it's better for me. Like, you guys are absolutely awesome. So thank you so much. But with that said, let's get straight into the news. In today's video, we're going to be talking about two major things. First and foremost is there has been some roster changes, and not that the roster itself is changing, but the organization that is being represented. In this case, BoSF Esports put out a tweet saying, "Hey there, BoSF fans. Sadly, we announced today the mutual departure of our Rocket League roster Krazix, LJ, Toasty, Desi, and Z-Speed. We wish them all the best of luck in their future endeavors, as we had some pretty great moments with them under our organization." For those that don't recognize those names, that is the former Jamal Jabary squad, which they will be going back to under that name. The difference, though, as well, is they're going to be bringing in a new coach. For those that are unaware, the Plot Twist roster, who has all disbanded, where they have had Taroko and Mactos and everybody going to different teams throughout the RLCS, also had their coach in Sadjunior. You guys would recognize Sadjunior as a former OGU, played under names alongside people like Kranovi and Jacob and Fireburner and many others. Sadjunior is an OG and also used to be the coach / manager. He would help out with Cloud9, actually, before Fireburner went there. So Sadjunior used to be coaching Plot Twist a long time back and is going to be now joining Jamal Jabary as their new coach. More information can be found in Z-Speed's tweet, where he talks about this and talking about how they are still looking for a new organization. So curious on to see what the situation that occurred this, but again, another organization in and then out almost immediately. Now on to the big topic of today's video is we are going to be focusing on the European grid. If you guys do not know, the grid is no longer 9 weeks in a row. It is 4 weeks with 2 days per each week. So technically still 8 days. We're missing out on 1 day. But the way the format is handled is a little bit different. I do have videos to this in further detail, but super TLDR, day 1 is just for seeding and groups, and then day 2 is a single elimination bracket. If we take a look at those groups, and I will have a link to this in the description down below as well, you can see it as follows. In Group A is going to be Endpoint, Giants, Guild, and Wolves. In Group B is going to be Galaxy Racer, Redemption, Renault Vitality, and Triple Trouble. In Group C is going to be Fadeaway, Oxygen, Team Liquid, and Team Singularity. And in Group D, Dignitas, Rix.GG, Team BDS, and Top Blokes. Some of these groups, most of these groups, all of these groups are absolutely lethal. There is, to my knowledge, no real clear favorites for the second team. The reason why I talk about the second team is because obviously we can all talk and look at the top seed in all of these groups. Pretty realistically, I think Group C is probably the closest out of everybody. You can make some arguments about Group B in their situation because teams like Triple Trouble and stuff do kind of surprise. But based upon the way I'm going to break this down is I'm going to go from group to group, A, B, C, and then D. Talk about which teams I think will place and how they will place, and then talk about how that will affect the bracket. So first things first, Group A, Endpoint, Giants, Guild, and Wolves. If I had to make my assumption, I think Giants is the best team in that group. I think Itachi has been a fantastic addition now that Tox is gone. They will be your number 1. At number 2, I think will be either Wolves or Guild probably. Endpoint had a really rough match. They ended up placing in like the bottom 12 or something like that, like 12th to 16th in regionals just last week. So not the best results for them. I do think Wolves is extremely underrated. I think Guild and Wolves are roughly in the same spot, and these teams could both be fighting for that second place spot. Maybe Endpoint will have a better result, but I think Giants is a clear favorite in this one. I don't know how Devo is still fitting into Guild. I haven't seen too much of like negative, I guess, of it, I would say. Like, I still think he's performing pretty well, but ultimately, I do think Wolves is highly undervalued. I think they're a very solid team and they could be fighting for that number 2 spot, but I do think it is very likely that the 2, 3, and 4 spots are very, very close. So keep in mind for that, but without a doubt, I think Giants is going to come out on top. We jump over to Group B. We got Galaxy Racer, Redemption, Renault Vitality, and Triple Trouble. Vitality should be the number 1 in that group. They should easily 3-0. I do think Galaxy Racer can play an upset in this one. I do look at the regional results, and Galaxy Racer did fall out very quickly on and lost to Guild, but I do personally believe that Galaxy Racer is a better team than Guild. The reason why they ended up doing so poorly is Arju was dealing with some major ping issues. A lot of disconnect stuff, very rubber bandy, was not going well. Galaxy Racer looked red hot and then fell against stuff that was kind of out of their control, so I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. The difficulty, though, that I do have is in regionals, they lost to Magnifico, now Team Queso, and Team Queso isn't in this, which I think is a shame. So that is unfortunate. I do have Triple Trouble also as another team that can play upset. As of late, they have been not looking amazing, but they are still playing as a top 16, kind of top 18, 20 team in the region. So without a doubt, they can play upset. They have done that numerous times in grids of the past. Redemption, also another team that has a ton of capability. They did get 0-2 to last time, so they had a tough fight. They beat Train Hard, the German team, lost to Top Lokes, and then lost immediately after to South 7. And all this competition is better than that. So this should be an interesting one. Ultimately, I think this group can be a lot of parity. I think this one can go all over the place depending on what Triple Trouble shows up. But Galaxy Racer and Vitality are my top 2 with Redemption close behind. We'll see how that one plays out. Triple Trouble, though, can kind of throw a wrench into the whole situation as they have done before. We then go to Group C, and this is probably going to be the closest group in my opinion. We got Fadeaway, Oxygen, Team Liquid, and Singularity. Team Liquid has looked like Dookie Booty as of right now, going 0-2 immediately in regionals. We didn't get to see much of them because they did not look good. They went completely 0-6, not a single win, so hoping to bounce back. On paper, it does look promising with Ronicky, so I'm going to have to see how this one plays out. That is kind of what I'm waiting to see for when I do my power rankings. Is we've got now 2 weeks of NA. We need 2 weeks of EU. We're going to see how it plays out before I get into the power rankings and really provide my opinion on what I've seen so far. Singularity, another team similar to something like Triple Trouble where they can play upset. But I would put them more in the ranking style of Guild as of last split. But now with Scrub Killer, they do look a lot better. But it is very polarizing. They either look great or they look like trash. From what I've seen, obviously all the banter that came with it about Scrub getting 0.29 rating and stuff I talked about in a previous video. Again, if you guys go look at that one, you can kind of see in detail what I was talking about. But Singularity is a team that does have a lot of potential. Scrub has felt very confident with this team, but it is, as I stated, very polarizing. It can go very well or very poorly very quickly. Oxygen is probably going to be the winner here. It doesn't seem like they have been affected so far, and the new mental coach has been helping them. They did make it all the way to winter semifinals before losing to BDS like everybody, and then they lost to Top Lokes immediately after. So I don't quite think they're a top 4 team yet, but I think they are finally being respected as a team that is top 6, top 5 area, where we thought they should have been all along. Kind of hoping to push into that top 4 behind teams like BDS, Vitality, Giants, Top Lokes. I would put Oxygen kind of right in that spot. So, and that's where the results ended for regionals. So I do think Oxygen is going to have a pretty good time. I also think Fadeaway is underrated. Even though I don't necessarily agree with their playstyle, it is a very frustrating one to play against. It's very controlled. They do a good job with counterattacks and are patient. And that is a testament to not really dealing with pressure. In the sense of if you are under a lot of stress on defense, a lot of shots are coming in, you don't really worry about it. You just keep your rotations clean and then you clear it out. I do think Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been a good addition. So I do think that Oxygen's going to be 1. Fadeaway should probably be 2 because they're really frustrating to play against. And then we might see Singularity and Liquid again as the 4th in that group. Could see some mix up there between, I think, 2 and 3. But most likely, I think Oxygen's going to be the first out of that group. If we get into then Group D, we got Dignitas, Rix, Team BDS, and Top Lokes. I think this group is absolutely stacked. There's a lot of really good teams in this. I do think Dignitas is underrated and had some tough competition. And obviously, Violent Panda just needs to take an extended break to help with his thumb, but instead he's taking muscle relaxers and empowering through it because, again, this circuit season doesn't really allow him to limit his play. He has to keep going with it. So extended break doesn't really feel like an option for him. BDS is going to still be number 1. Lokes going to be number 2. And then it's up to Dignitas to beat out Rix.GG. Rix.GG should probably go 0-3 in this group. And Dignitas, if you want to prove it to me. 2-1 is a good result. I don't think it's going to happen, as I do think Top Looks is the better team, but this new Dignitas team will keep it close. I think apparently Jack has been a good addition. It feels like they're more in sync as compared to with Yukio, and I think that is really helping out. So Dignitas is a team I'm going to continue to keep my eyes on as they continue to trend upwards. Now, as a last reminder, this will not be an elimination day. This starts on Thursday, and the matches are just for seeding. All these teams will still be playing on the following day on Friday. It is just a matter of where they will place in the bracket. So Thursday, we're going to see all these matches play out. There will be multiple streams. You can come over to my stream, link in the description, twitch.tv/Lawler. We'll be watching like an NFL Red Zone style kind of thing where we've got 4 matches up at once. We'll try to talk and dissect what's happening in each of the matches. Be doing a live Q&A, all that kind of stuff as always on my stream. That'll go till probably about like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Then I've got Thanksgiving stuff with family. And then Friday, we'll be back at it again, watching the final bracket play out, kind of hanging out in a long stream, watching all those matches as well. So that is the plans for this weekend. I hope you guys come and join us. A lot of you have been popping over not only to the Discord, but also the stream and showing a lot of generosity. So I do greatly appreciate that. The support from this community has been insane, to say the least. But that is going to wrap it up for this video as well. As always, if you enjoy the content, thumbs up, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Just about hit 27,000 subs. Trying to hit 30,000 by the end of the month. It's a stretch goal. If we can hit it, that'd be awesome. But if we don't, still thank you for all the support. And we will see you next time. Peace.